Hello and welcome. This is your friendly neighborhood Viper speaking. This video is split into two parts. The first of which is a guide that shows you how to place walls on a tech in general and all kinds of wall setups directly on Breeze. And the second part is gameplay showcasing these walls. There are three types of walls to attack with. The first is a close-angled wall that cuts off most of the site, as exemplified here, which is really useful for eco rounds when you're just looking to plant a spike for money, or in later rounds when you plan to use your ultimate rather than engage in open combat. These kinds of walls can cut off more or less of the site, but they usually limit the entryway to one angle only to ease the entry into a site and focus the gameplay more on the post-plant position. The second type of wall is the one you will see most generally used, and it usually splits the site in half and allows you to play a more balanced fight when attacking, allowing you to kill some defenders and also securing positions on the site directly for the post plant rather than just away from the site or in your ultimate. These can also vary a little in how much of the site they cut off, with varying degrees of advantages and disadvantages, and usually you're looking to simplify the angle of attack rather than allowing you to sneak deep into the site, but it's also possible to use walls like that. The third and last type of wall you can use in attack is the one I personally use the least, but in general is not unpopular at all. And it's the one that cuts off enemy rotations, reinforcements to the side you're attacking, but doesn't cover much of the site at all as you're advancing. It's most useful when you have a second smoker, but as a single smoke it only really covers long range angles for the defenders and doesn't help you much in attacking the site on its own. On the other hand, they grant your team the most degree of freedom to play the site as they want and not be obstructed by your walls. So here on B, I'll showcase the three different types of walls in more detail and how they change the approach for attackers as well as defenders. As you can see, this first very close angled wall allows the attackers to focus on very few angles to clear and makes the entry a lot easier, but later on doesn't give much access to the site. For the defenders, as you can see in a moment, they have no idea how many people there are, they can't see anything, they can't cover anything except spraying through the smoke or throwing abilities in it. There's pretty much a single position available to defend the site from, and which is easily overwhelmed by attackers. And onto the second type of wall, which on some maps and sites you cannot cast from spawn, but will have to push in a little bit deeper, sometimes even clear angles to get into position to cast it from. And this second type of wall splits the site in half, as showcased on A before, but exposes you to a lot more angles to cover as you enter the site. But the big advantage of these is that they grant you access to most of the site, usually including the default plant position. The third type of wall on Breeze B is cast alongside the back wall of B site. And again, it doesn't really help you enter the site, but it grants you more protection from rotations and site retake attempts, and grant the most freedom to your teammates to act unobstructed across the entire site, which is especially important to high mobility aggressive duelists. On the defense side, you'll usually place your wall before rounds start, and the best Breeze B defensive wall goes from the corner I started to the center boxes around the pillar, cutting off all attacker entryways to mid, B and A, and denying them vision around this pillar usually. As you can see here, I misaligned the wall a little bit, so watch out to cast it right along the box rather than to the left of it. If you want to use a single smoke to defend B, then you can use this wall to the top middle box. It allows you to defend the entry choke from either side of the wall, granting you quite the advantage against attackers. And in the middle, it covers you very well from any mid towards B aggression. But if there is any mid to A aggression, this wall actively hinders defenders from covering that, so watch out. For your default setup, when you use the wall as shown earlier along the middle boxes, you will use your Q to defend main, the main aggression route towards B. Make sure you place your smoke not too deep as seen here, but rather that it covers the entire entryway until they're on site, so you have one straight line along the smoke. Use the wall you placed earlier when you're being aggressed from mid-link or when B is not the enemy's main focus and you need to rotate towards A. Speaking of which, this is the wall I use to defend. Make sure it passes underneath the hall above the doors, so you can actually cover the mid doorway. This wall is excellent to cover any mid to A aggression and also defends B from the entire mid section, even B tunnels. I've discovered this wall recently and it's helped my win rate tremendously. Of course, you use this wall together with a Q smoke on main, mirroring how you defend the B side. Try to avoid using both your smokes at once and instead defend using your snakebite ability together with your smokes, or rather alternating with your smokes so that your juice can recover and isn't drained faster than it has to be. Just like on B, there's also a budget wall version on A, which is cast from this corner again underneath the hallway above the doors, which covers half of middle rather than the entirety of it and allows for some more aggressive mid defending. Back on A, this wall gives the attackers a little bit more room to play with, but also allows the defenders to stay in very healthy positions for much longer and deny entry to most of the site and play for retake or aggressive plays to counter any plant attempts. You can also use this to just sit out the plant and defend with an ultimate. And now let's finally get to the fun part of this video, the gameplay clips showing off these setups in soloQ. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this guide to be helpful and informative, and if you did, please consider subscribing to the channel to support me in making more content for you guys and improve the quality of my videos.
Toxins going up. Careful.
Spike down.
Spike down mid.
Reloading. Toxins going up.
Mid, maybe?
One enemy remaining.
3 down.
Flawless.
Toxin screen down. Poison orb remaining. Poison's off. Bad luck. Poison orb emitting.
Spike down.
Spike down A.
Don't get in my way. Poison's off.
You have the spike? Yes. Okay. Spike is here.
One enemy remaining.
3 down.
Looks like I was the stronger one.
Silver can drop for Sage.
Can someone get...
B.
Poison orb
Mid,
emitting.
jet.
Browning mid. Sova elbow.
Enemy
Free elbow.
Poison's off. Don't get in my way.
Get out of my way!
Toxins going up.
81 Reyna.
Enemy spotted me.
Here.
One enemy remaining.
End of story. For you.
Toxins going up.
Wait, Viper. Don't go.
I've got your trail.
Enemy defender spawned.
One on B, one
Toxin
CT.
screen down. Ended. Toxins
Jet very
going
low.
up.
City.
One yellow, one bridge. One more bridge.
Last player standing.
Toxin screen down. Light planted. Don't get in my way.
One enemy remaining.
Toxins going up.
Nice.
Good job.
Toxin screen down. Poison orb emitting. Light planted. Don't get in my way. Poison's off.
Last player standing.
Rain is going.
One enemy remaining.
Good job, man.
You only thought that was close. Toxins going up.
You will not kill my ally.
My way.
3A.
Toxin screen down.
Got him.
It's gonna be tough, dude.
Light planted.
Last player standing.
Poison orb emitting.
On main.
Goodbye.
One enemy remaining.
Good job.
Oh, blow, man.
I